In this lesson, we'll discuss how to apply visual appearances. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to add an appearance and update a distributed design version. Once we have our scene set up and we want to talk about appearances, we can do that by selecting the appearance option in Setup or using A, the shortcut key for the appearance menu. Now the shortcut key A works not only in the rendering environment, but also inside of the model workspace and patch workspace. So anytime you want to change the appearance of something, you can do that. Now I do want to note, we already applied a physical material to this. In general, you don't have to apply a physical material, but for us it was important to know the mass of the design, so we applied that nylon material. By applying nylon material, it automatically used the nylon 6.6 appearance. So those are linked together and we don't actually have to change the appearance at all. If you want to, we can simply go into the appearance library. We can decide what kind of material we want to use, for instance, a plastic. If we want to use an opaque plastic and we want to use a different color such as a green or a blue, we can simply drag that on and close. When we look at this, if we expand X star and we take a look at the bodies and we look at the X star body and we right click and go to properties, we still have the physical material set to nylon 6. All we've done is we've overrode the physical material's appearance. So by default, when you apply that physical material, it'll bring in an appearance that looks similar. So for instance, if you choose some metallic appearance like aluminum, it'll bring in a shiny aluminum appearance with it. At any point in time, we can override that. Now in our case, I actually want to leave it white. So I am going to remove, unassign, and delete that green appearance, and it'll go back to its default. So if we expand X star and we right click on the X star body, we can see that it's using the nylon 6 physical material and the appearance has gone back to the nylon 6.6 white. So if you want to change the appearance of any of that, you certainly can. In terms of the appearance of the motors, these come in directly from the file, the linked file, the distributed design file. So if we come in and we try to change those, you can see that this red material here is for the motion or the path of the prop. So if we right click and we edit that material, and let's say that we want to change the transparency of it, we can go into the Advanced tab. We can scroll down and look at the advanced highlights. We can change anything such as the bump pattern or the cutout. We can modify these parameters however we want. So currently it's set to an acrylic material and we have the index of refraction set to 1.4. If we change this value, for instance, if we change it to 1 and apply it, it'll affect all of the props in the design. So notice it says old material cannot be removed from document, possibly because it's the default material. And sometimes you'll get that depending on how the design is inserted. But if we go down and we try to apply, say, an amber translucent material, you notice that it's assigned to the bodies or faces because it's a reference component. So the way that we want to get around this is by modifying this component in its original file. So if we expand the data panel and we double click to open the DYS motor in its own file, we can then come in and modify its appearances. If we decide we simply want to hide the prop path because we no longer need it, we can save a new version of that file and we go back to our X star. You'll notice that we get a warning that it's currently out of date. We can right click and we can figure out if we need to update this. And there's also a link option at the top where if we click on that, it'll update the components to its latest version. So you'll notice how it updates the original, but it doesn't update the mirrored versions of it. Now the mirrored versions, we actually have complete control over the bodies, so we can simply hide the prop paths on those. We can go into each one and simply hide those. So that way we're only showing the props. So again, there are various ways that we can adjust these appearances. And as we look at this design, we now have the motor, the props, and the nylon 6 white material. So again, let's go ahead and save. That way we can move on to the next step.